In this lecture, we are going to see the C library function in the library math.h. So it includes this header file math.h, include some mathematical functions. The first mathematical function is abs of I. It returns the absolute value of function of integer I. We know that if the absolute value function mod of x is equal to x if x is greater than 0, is equal to 0 if x is equal to 0, and is equal to minus x if x is less than 0. So if x is an integer, that is for x is equal to 2, then output is 2, and if x is equal to minus 2, then it is minus of minus 2, so it is again 2. So if you want an absolute value of integer, then this abs of I returns the absolute value of an integer. So if we see in here, if we write code, so include stdio.h, include new.h, void main, okay, and here if we take integer x and if we write a printf, enter x is equal to, okay, scanf %d and x here, and printf %d abs. To return an absolute value, write a function abs of x, okay, and get ch. Now 4 errors are there. Include. Now we can see the function abs, this function, mathematical function defined in header file math.h. so we want to include here, include math.h. okay, it contains various mathematical functions. So now if you run, okay, we want to clear the pure output, say 4, okay, and here we are in some new line. Now if you run, if you enter say 5, then absolute value of 5 is 5. Now if you enter minus 5, then it is 5. Then if you enter here 0, then output is what? 0. So it gives an absolute value of an integer. Next, if you want to, the next function, the next mathematical function is if abs of say d. Now this function returns absolute, this also function returns absolute value of d, but here the data type of d is double or floating point. So if you want to return absolute value of floating point number or double numbers, then double data type number, then you have to write a function fabs. For example, in the previous program, if we enter here say minus 3.4, the output is what? Only 3, not 3.4. So to enter absolute value, we want to return absolute value of floating point number, then in that case use here fabs, data type is double, So now you can see here, if you enter here 4.3, then output is what? 4.3. Now if you enter minus 4.3, the output is what? 4.3. So hope you understand the difference between ABS and fabs. Fabs for to return the absolute value of floating point number, and ABS only for integer numbers. So the next library function is number 3. This library function is ceil function, and it returns this function roundup to the next integer greater than d, or in other words, it gives the largest integer, the smallest integer which is greater than d, the smallest integer which is greater than d. In other words, it returns the smallest integer greater than d. So for example, if you enter here, say if we enter d is equal to say 4.3, then the smallest integer or the next integer which is greater than 4.3, the output is what? 5. If we enter here 6.8, then the next integer which is greater than 6.8 is 7. Greater than or equal to, here the one word is missing, greater than or equal to means what? If you enter exact an integer, that is, suppose if you enter here 7, d is equal to 7, then output is what? 7. Also if you enter here x is equal to, say, or d is equal to minus 2.3, so the next integer which is greater than minus 2.3 is minus 2. Okay. So now if we float x, and here if you write here ceil function, and if you run here, and if we enter x is equal to 4.3, then output is what? 5. If you run one more times, and if you enter here for 5.8, then next integer which is greater than 5.8 is 6. Now if you run here the minus 2.7, the next integer which is greater than minus 2.7 is minus 2. Okay, so this way you can see minus 4.3, the next integer which is greater than minus 4.3 is minus 4. Similarly, the next mathematical function which included in the header file math.h, the next number is what? 4. The floor function, this function returns the largest integer value less than or equal to x. It returns the largest value or integer, largest integer less than or equal to, say here if it is x, less than or equal to x. Means what? Suppose you enter here x is equal to 4.3. So the largest integer which is less than 4.3, output is 4. So hope you understand the difference between these two, floor and ceil. In ceil function, the 4.3, the next integer is 5, but the previous integer which is less than 4.3 is what? 4. Suppose if you enter here x is equal to minus 2.3, then the previous integer or the largest integer which is less than minus 2.3 is minus 3. So this is the difference between ceil and floor function. So if you enter here floor, and if you run here say minus or 4.3, the output is what? 4. If you run here, take 5.8, then output is what? 5. Sorry, there is one error. Floor function, if we run here, say minus 3.2, the output, there is one error. Now if you run one more time, say Alt R, if you run here, say 4.3, then output is what? Since it gives a previous integer which is less than 4.3, so output is what? 4. But if you enter here minus 2.3, then output is what? Minus 3. So hope you understood the difference between floor function and ceil function. Now the next function is square root function. The next number is 5. sqrt, to find a square root of a floating point number d, it gives a square root of number d. So if you write here square root sqrt, square root of d, and if we run here, say 2, then output is what? 1.41. So if we run one more times, if you enter here 4, output is what? 2. So hope you understood the next the mathematical function is what? Square root. Now the next mathematical function, the number 6, is exp of d. It returns the e raised to d, that is exponential number raised to d. So we know that e is the inverse of natural logarithm. So it is what it returns the raised to the power e to the raised to the power d, where e is equal to 2.718281 something. Okay, so if you write here axp d, now if you run here and if you enter 1, and output is what? 2.71. but if you run here, say 2, output is what? 7.38. so this is the mathematical function, exponential function. The next function, number 7 is log d. It determines the natural logarithm. It determines the natural logarithm of d. It returns the natural logarithm of d. So if you enter here log d, and if you run here, say if you enter 2, then output is what? 0.6931. if we run one more time, say minus 3, and output log is not defined for negative number. So but if you enter, say 0.3, then output, okay, this is an error, domain error. So the next library function, number 8, is fmod ab, say ab. Now it returns this function returns the remainder when remainder of a divided by b, that is, we enter here fmod of 6 by 3, then the remainder, the output is what? 0, because when we divide 6 by 3, the remainder is 0. But if you enter here fmod of 6 5, then remainder here is what? 1. If we enter here fmod of 11 3, then our remainder is what? 2. So if we include untitled.h include math.h okay, void main sorry, and if we enter here same float, say h, okay, printf. I want to clear the previous output, printf, enter value of h is equal to scanf %f and h, okay. Then next printf new line %f, okay, fmod we want two value, okay, so instead of h we are taking here ab, so scanf %f and a and b and a, sorry, and b. So fmod ab get ch. So now if you compile, 0 error. Now if you run, suppose you enter here 6 and 3, the output is what? 0. Instead of enter a and b, here h, enter a and b. So you run one more time, 6 and 5, output is what? 1, because if we divide 6 by 5, output is 1. Or if we run one more time, if we divide 11 by say 3, then output is what? 2. If we run one more times, if we enter say 11, and when we divide by 2, the output is, remainder is what? 1. So hope you understood this, the function fmod ab. The next mathematics function at 9 is sine function. So if you enter here sine of say a, then it returns, then this function returns the cosine or sine of, returns sine of a, value in terms of radian, okay, in terms of radian. So if you write here instead of a, b, and want to enter only a, and here b, if you write here sine a, sine of a, it returns sine angle of a in terms of radian. So if you enter here say 3, the output is what? 0.1412. So if we run one more time, sine 0 is 0. So similarly, if you want to determine cosine angle, then just enter here cos. You can see here output is 3, 0 minus 0.98992. If you enter find inverse of cos, then just add a cos. So if you enter here say 0.8, the output is what? 0.643501. So inverse of cos inverse of a. Next, if you want to enter find the cos hyperbolic of a, then just enter cos of h and say 4, you will get 27 point, there is something on cos hyperbolic of a, there is an error. So if you run cos hyperbolic of a, it gives an error, sorry. Next library function is number 10, power of function, say power of power function. If we enter here say ab, power ab, then it returns the power function a raised to b, it returns a raised to b. So to enter here include connew.h, include math.h. see here, void main, sorry, if you enter here float ab, clear the previous output, and if you enter here printf, or instead of a and b I am writing here direct power printf %f, okay, power of 2 3. Now now if you run here, you can see power of 2 raised to 3 is what? 8. Thank you.